Rain lashed against the cracked windows. Wind howled like a banshee. Lightning split the sky, momentarily illuminating a dilapidated Sign Crossroads motel. John, weary from his travels, steered his car into the desolate parking lot. He needed shelter. He needed rest. He needed to escape the storm's fury. He pushed open the heavy glass door and stepped inside. The air hung thick with the scent of mildew and something else he couldn't quite place. It smelled old, stale, like something forgotten. A single lamp illuminated the dusty reception desk. Behind it sat an old man, his face a road map of wrinkles, his eyes like two dark, watchful birds. "Just the one room?" the old man rasped, his voice barely a whisper. "Yes," John replied, shivering. "Just me." The old man's gaze lingered on John for a moment too long. He reached for a rusty key, the metal cold and heavy in his hand. "Room 207, he mumbled, sliding it across the counter. "And sir, avoid room 306. Of his vision. He tried to ignore the faint whispers he could have sworn he heard in the silence between the thunderclaps. He lay awake for hours listening to the storm and the strange creaking of the old motel. Every time he closed his eyes he saw the old man's warning gaze. "Avoid room 306. He couldn't shake off the feeling that something was wrong. Something was watching him. The shadows in the room seemed to deepen, to writhe. The whispers grew louder, morphing into unintelligible murmurs right outside his door. Driven by a morbid curiosity, he rose from the bed and crept towards the door. He pressed his ear against the cold wood. The murmuring stopped. The hallway was silent, save for the pounding of his own heart. He couldn't shake the feeling that he was being watched, that something was waiting for him to let down his guard. He knew he should stay away from room 306, but the old man's warning, the strange noises, and the oppressive atmosphere of the motel had ignited a morbid curiosity in him. He had to know what secrets lurked behind that door. Heart pounding in his chest, John crept towards room 306. The door creaked open as if inviting him in. Inside, the air hung even heavier, thick with dust and the faint scent of decay. Moonlight filtered through a grimy window, illuminating a single object in the center of the room, an old, ornately framed mirror covered in a thick layer of dust. Drawn to it, John stepped inside and reached out a trembling hand to wipe away the grime. As the dust cleared, he saw his reflection, or rather he didn't. There was a void where his face should be, an emptiness that stared back at him. Then a figure solidified behind him in the mirror's reflection, a dark silhouette with eyes that glowed with an eerie light. It grinned, a grotesque, chilling smile that stretched impossibly wide. John whirled around. The room was empty. He was alone. But he knew with a certainty that chilled him to the bone that the reflection hadn't lied. Room 306 was not just a room, it was a doorway, and he had just opened it.